Hello, I'm Daniela. In today's video, I'm going to show the inside of a fabric book. Well, I'm going to show the inside and the outside of my fabric book. I've had a lot of requests of people who want to see a completed fabric book. Now, I have lots of fabric books that I've made through the years. Some are mixed media, which mean they have not only fabric, but maybe paper and some other types of elements, found elements, some things that are stitched in that are a little unexpected. Today's book, though, is all fabric and it's all about texture. There's lots of stitches, lots of pages, and lots of depth. So it's kind of a bulky book, but I think that's what makes it so intriguing. Now I'll show you the cover, the binding, and each set of pages. I chose to make each layout, each spread of pages, the same, so every 2 pages are the same. The book has pockets, and I have little treasures tucked inside the pockets throughout. Little unexpected things, some little books, tag, a little found object. They're just little fun things that make it very tactile, very interesting, and very interactive for the user. And I hope you find it interesting and inspiring. A lot of the techniques I've shown in previous videos here on my channel, so I hope you find them useful. Now, if you do find a technique or something that you're curious about, please ask me in the questions below. I'd be happy to show you how to do it. So let's take a look at my fabric book. Now, here are some fabric books that I've worked on and created. Some of them you're familiar with, others you've seen glimpses inside. But today I'm going to take one and show you an in-depth look at all the pages. This is one of my favorites. It's interactive and it has a lot going on, including texture and colors and lots of little surprises. And I'll show you the inside. So here's a look in one of my fabric books. Now, it's a very thick book. It opens up wide like a V shape, and it's got a spine that's detached from the pages. So it's kind of interesting that way. I had an old piece of an embroidered material that I used for the cover and just some fabric for the back. And because I didn't want the edges exposed, I did like a blanket stitch around the edge. So this book is interactive in that it has a lot of parts to it that I want the person looking at it to like touch and feel. So it's got a lot of texture, and that was really the theme of this book. And as it came along, it also developed different themes within each set of pages. So I have a lot of abstract shapes here, practicing my stitches, but working on these circles. I used this metallic thread, and that was a real great learning experience because I learned the metallic thread is difficult to work with. But I echoed the shape on these 2 pages and worked them together. So the colors are just similar, the shapes are similar, and the overall feel for these 2 pages are similar. My next page is where I start the interaction. I have some interesting colors here. Again, this page spread coordinates. I have a tag that pulls in and out. And once again, there's more texture. I have this lace, this crocheted lace trim on both sets of pages, as well as this couching stitch. It's very bumpy, it feels very sensual, and it's kind of interesting. The tag is just a double-sided piece of fabric where I slow stitched the front, added a piece on the back just so the stitching and the knots wouldn't show. And then I can just tuck it into this pocket with the frayed edge. So there's a lot going on this page. Now this page is where I worked on some texture. I have all these folded pieces of fabric for no other purpose than it just looks really interesting. It feels interesting, and it's in my favorite color scheme. So I thought that was really appropriate. Now over here, I did the same thing, but I flipped it. So instead of being a full page of all these folded fabrics, I have some going down, some going up. And then I have another piece of ruffled trim in the center, along with a stitched line that pulls these 2 pages together. You can see the exposed batting here. That's the basis for the pages as well. And I kind of like that look. It looks very handmade. Now in these 2 pages, I worked my hand at a Dresden plate, which is very interesting. I love the colors in this, and I put in a cute little house. So then when I was working on this page, I put in a much larger house, and I echoed that roundness from the Dresden plate over here with that shape. Again, it's very textured and it coordinates quite nicely. I also picked up some of those colors along the edging. Now this page is probably my favorite just because I think there's so much going on. I have this little curtain here with the beads up top, and these move around. You can play with them. There's a little pocket in here, and inside that pocket is just a little piece of paper that I stitched, kind of like a postage stamp, with a button onto just another piece of paper. And I can just tuck it in there, and I think that's a cute little hidden surprise. On this page, there's no pocket. It resembles a pocket, but it's just the lace. I echoed the buttons, I echoed the lace detail, and I have a piece of lace overlay here with a collage in the back that matches those fabrics and those colors. So I really like the way this looks. It's all different, each set of pages. The next set of pages is kind of intriguing. I made pockets on both sides, and that's one of the reasons the book sticks out in a V shape, is because of these pockets. So if I was to remove the little treasures inside the pockets, the book is a lot more traditional. But I kind of like the fact that there's all these little goodies inside the book for the viewer to stumble upon and discover. I have some more fabric collage on both pages. They're not identical, but they do coordinate. And I line the pockets to make them extra thick and supportive for the treasures. On this pocket on the left, I just have two little basically trading cards made out of fabric that I put together. And I stitched a little floral motif, and again I have this interesting fabric shape with the outline. And then over here I have more of a fabric collage with a Boro stitch, just some other shapes in fun colors. I also did some fabric collage on the background that you see when you remove the goodies from the pocket. But it's not really noticeable when this is all together. Then again on this side I have that fabric collage echoed on the background, my collage detailing here, and then this little book. So for the little book, it has a binding very similar to the main book with the detached pages, and then each page has a bunch of little collages on it. Just a little bit of stitching, just something sweet and unexpected. And so for those people curious, you could turn all the pages and see all the collages with the little stitches. The work is imperfect. It was very enjoyable to do. I salvaged little pieces of lace and stamps and papers that I really liked but didn't really know what to do with, and I got to use them here. A homemade button, a little wrapped washer, just some cute little touches. Some sweet little fabric collage that looks like a pocket. And then the last page with another stamp, and I have this closed. So that is one of my many fabric books. So that's a look at my fabric book, from the cover to the spine to each set of pages. I hope you found this useful, helpful, and inspiring. I have other books that I've made, some that used a lot of painting techniques, some that were just glue books using fabric as well as paper. So I have lots of things to use for books. If you're curious, please leave a comment below about what you'd like to know. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. And as usual, thanks for watching.